Welcome to my Pecha Kucha. I am Rishab and I hope to explain the basics of JavaScript drawing. We will explore everything from basic shape drawing to more advanced functions like working with time. We will start with commentation for organization. I will be using Khan Academy for this Pecha Kucha. I will not use HTML. Remember to use semicolons. Commentation. A comment is a string of text that is not evaluated by the computer. This can help you recognize what a piece of code does in a long program. The program here uses commentation in green to define a function of a program. Ellipses and circles. Ellipses and circles have a wide variety of uses and are one of the most used shapes. They are essential to many animation applications. Drawing one is very simple. Simply call the ellipse function. There are 4 parameters which are the information about what you want to do. They go into the parentheses. First, the x and y coordinates of the separated by a comma. Then the width and height. Rectangles. The program shown here uses the rect function to draw 2 rectangles. One is drawn at coordinates 50 and 50. The other, a square, is drawn at coordinates 220 and 50. Set the background color using the background function. In Khan Academy, there are 3 parameters for a solid color. Other libraries may have a single number for a solid color. They stand for the amount of red, green, and blue in the background. You can also add another optional parameter for transparency, 1 to 255. Filling shapes. Fill shapes in Khan Academy by calling the fill function. It uses the same color code as background. You must call it directly before the shape you want to draw. Points. Points can be drawn in JavaScript using the point function. It has 2 parameters. First the x coordinate, then the y. Color and size are determined by the stroke and stroke weight functions, which you'll learn about soon. Stroke. Calling stroke will adjust the color of any points and lines after it, until it is called again with different parameters. It uses the same color code system used in fill. The program here uses it to color a line, which you'll learn about soon. Setting the thickness for lines and points. The function stroke weight is used to determine the size of points and the thickness of lines. It only has 1 parameter, a number that represents the size. This also works for the thickness of outlines, unless turned off. Lines. Lines are drawn using the line function. It has 4 parameters. They are the starting x coordinate, the starting y coordinate, and the ending x and y coordinates. Triangles. Drawing triangles is somewhat tricky. In Khan Academy, there are 6 parameters. They are the x and y coordinates respectively of each of the vertices. The line of code shown here draws a triangle with vertices at 100 and 100, 300 and 100, and 200 and 300. No stroke. The no stroke function call in Khan Academy disables outlines for shapes. The program here draws 2 red rectangles after calling the no stroke function. This can be undone by calling stroke using the color code 0, 0, and 0 to set it to black. Finding a random number in a range. Have the computer create a random number inside a range by calling the random function. It has 2 parameters, the maximum generated number and the minimum generated number. The program here draws a randomly sized and placed circle every time it's restarted. It uses multiple variables defined as this function to create this. text. To draw text, use the text function. It has 3 parameters. The first parameter is the actual text in quotations, then the x coordinate followed by the y. If calls only run code if the condition is true. To create one, type if, and in parentheses type the condition, like x is greater than 50. Then in brackets type the code you want to run if the condition is true. You can also use the else clause to say what to do if the condition isn't true. Type else after the bracket from if, and in brackets type the code you want to run. While loops run code as long as the condition is true. To use one, type the condition in parentheses, like if. Then type the code you want to run while the condition is true in brackets. The program here uses it to draw lines at different coordinates each time. Irregular quadrilaterals. To draw irregular quadrilaterals, use the quad function. It has 8 parameters, which are the 8 x and y coordinates of each of the vertices, like in triangle. With this, you can draw such things as kites and trapezoids, like trapezoids are shown here. Hours, minutes, and seconds. You can call minute, second, or hour to get a number that represents the respective measurement. So, if you call minute, you get, if the time is 3:45, 45, indicating that it is 45 minutes into the hour. There are no parameters, so it has empty parentheses. It will, however, need to be constantly refreshed for it to keep counting. This is the clock that uses each of them to create it. They are defined as variables down here. Millis. This call, as long as it is refreshed, tells you how many milliseconds have elapsed since the program started. It has no parameters. The program here prints how long the program has been running in a sentence. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and learned something. Coding is a whole world for you to explore and enjoy. So keep learning it. This is just the tip of the iceberg.